In this session, I want to talk about files. In particular, I want to talk about file types, the size of files, and also how to zip files and to unzip them as well. When we talk about file types, what we're referring to is how the data are organized within a file. And essentially what that means is how and which applications are able to open and edit that file. Applications are only able to open specific file types, so each application is not going to be able to open up every file type. You can often determine the file type from the file extension, so that is what appears after the dot in a file name. But changing the file extension doesn't change the file type, it just confuses everything. So you can't just change the file name and then the file type changes. That's not how it works. So let's now have a look at some common file types that we use on a routine basis. To begin with then, Word documents, likely you've come across this before, has the extension of docx. This is used for writing text documents, for essays and homeworks and so on. The next common type of document is a PDF. This is for reading documents and articles, not so much for editing, although you can edit them, but mostly it's for reading documents and articles. Then we have images. One main type of image type is a PNG, and this is for representing photos and any other types of pictures. Another common type of image format is what we call a JPEG, JPG, and this also stores pictures, but tends to be in a compressed form. That means they are taking up less space on the computer drive. Videos are represented with the extension normally as an MP4, and anything you record on your phone or upload to social media tends to have this format. And then the final format I want to look at is audio. This often has the extension MP3, and this is for representing music and podcasts. So those are the main common file types, but now I want to look at file sizes and how those different file types relate as well to those file sizes. So file size refers to how much space a file takes up on the computer's drive. This is measured in bytes, and bigger files need more storage, and they also take longer to send and receive over a network. So units of file sizes then, so we have kilobytes to begin with. 1 kilobyte is equal to 1,000 bytes in the same way that 1 kilometer is equal to 1,000 meters. Files that are measured in kilobytes typically are Word documents and also highly compressed JPEG images. The next unit of file sizes are megabytes. Mega stands for million, so megabytes, 1 megabyte is 1 million, and that's equal to 1,000 kilobytes. Files that are measured in units of megabytes, typically MP3 audio files, PNG image files, and also PDF documents. The next set of units are gigabytes. Gigabytes is equal to 1,000 megabytes, so 1,000 million bytes. Files that are measured in gigabytes typically are long video files, basically movies. Another thing relating to files that's really useful to know is zipping files and unzipping them. Now, when we zip a file, what we're doing is we're compressing the file so that they take up less storage space on the computer hard drive. Zipping files also combine multiple files into a single file. This is really handy if you're sending files, because then you can just combine them into a single file. Instead of having to send lots of separate files, you can combine them into a single file and send them often as an email attachment, for instance. So it's good for that purpose. Zipping is also a really good way to archive files that you haven't accessed for a while. So they're archived, that you haven't lost them. You've still got the files, but they're stored in a neat place, and they are not taking up as much storage as they otherwise would if they weren't zipped up. So let's now have a look at how we zip and unzip files. So on Windows, what you do is you right click on the folder, you go to send to, click on compressed, and then it creates a new zip folder. You can see it's happened there, it has a big zip on it. Then to unzip, you right click and then go to extract all. That unzips your file. On the iPad, slightly different. You tap on the folder and then you compress, and then it creates your zip folder. And then to uncompress it, you click on the folder and then click on uncompress, and that does the opposite steps. You can compress and uncompress that way on the iPad. So now that we've been through that, there are some sort of common questions and some common sort of issues you might have arising, and trying to understand what they are on the basis of what we've just looked at. So first of all, you might have the issue of why your file doesn't open. Well, the file could be corrupted, of course, it could actually be damaged. But another reason it could be that you're using the wrong application to open that file up. So you're using the inappropriate application for that file name extension. It could be that file name extension has changed, so you've been slightly confused if that's happened. So that's a good reason why a file might not open. Why does a video take a long time to upload? It could be that your video is a really big file. We saw that it was of the order of gigabytes, particularly long ones. And so, yeah, it's going to take a long time to upload. Why can't you save any more videos on your phone? It could be that your phone has also already lots of videos, also maybe even music files, also maybe many photographs. So there's not much space left for you to be able to store videos, which are particularly large files. And so you're not going to be able to store any more videos on your phone. And then another one is to understand what a zip file is and why can't you edit the documents within the zip file. Well, a zip file, we saw it's a compressed file and it's lots of files combined into one file. You can't edit it because you need to unzip it before. If you unzip it, then you can edit the files. You can often view the files in a zip file, but you need to unzip it to be able to edit the documents. What I want you to do now is to archive some of your old folders that you haven't used in a while. So if you do that to all your folders in previous school years, that would be a sensible thing to do. When you have zipped them up, what I want you to do then is to remove the original folder. So then you've got your old files, old folders archived away neatly and tidily, taking up less storage space than they were previously.